between stimulus and response, there's a place. And in that space is our power to choose our response. In our response lies our growth and our freedom. So when we get stimulated, right, we have all of that information coming in, all of that information popping in on our sensory, like sight, sound, hearing, intuition, all of these, we're like wide open all the time, listening on all channels, right? So we get that 400 billion bits of information. In that gap is where everything happens, right? So we get that stimulus, some sort of stimulus, sight, sound, thought, like, oh, I want to create, right? So there's a stimulus. As soon as you choose your creation, there's a stimulus that happens. So the information's coming in, there's a stimulus that's happening. So in between that stimulus and that response is where the mind goes in and sifts through, just like you had this big, huge filing cabinet, right? With millions and millions of documents, of memories, of programs, of beliefs, right? And so you have that stimulus, and now your mind, like an amazing computer, is going through all those files going, okay, when has something similar to this happened in my life? When has something similar to this happened to somebody in my lineage? What information do I have in my computer banks to let me know how I should respond or react in this particular situation? So that's what's happening in that period in between. So in that moment is when we have the ability to choose. But do we really have the ability to choose? Sometimes, yes, 100%. Sometimes those programs are so strong, you are off to the races before you can choose how you're going to respond. How many of you have experienced that? I know I have. It's like the trigger happens and I am somewhere else long before I have any sort of gap of awareness where it's like, oh, guess what? I'm triggered. I could choose another path. But the more awareness we bring to it, the easier it is to go, oh, right, just got triggered, so my brain just went through all my things and it found something to tell me like danger, 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 right? And then if it's a big enough danger, guess what? One of our part-time personalities is going to push our main personality off of the active field and say, I'm in charge, man. And I know what to do, because when I was 2, I decided that if I threw a temper tantrum, then I got my way. So guess what? All of a sudden, you're a 30-something-year-old person and you're throwing a temper tantrum, and going to calm down, but kind of in the same way, right? I want my way sort of thing. So it's not good or bad, right? It's just realizing that is where that's what's happening, right? In between the stimulus and what you choose to do, there's all kinds of stuff happening in this computer, right? This computer brain, it's going through everything. And so it's like, take a breath, give yourself compassion. Sometimes what happened, or that program from ancestrally, is so strong that it's hard to go, oh, heading down this road with this, I just got triggered, I'm just in stimulus, and maybe I'm going to go over here. So instead of going here, which is what I've always done, I'm going to go here. And if you can, you just take a few moments and try to recode yourself. How many of you have tried that? How many of you have tried recoding yourself when things are like you're in the midst of it? Or maybe in a meditation in the morning when you realize there's a lot in the way. Awesome, Christopher. Yeah, Sue. Cool. Cool. Did you find it shifted a few things when you recoded yourself? Yeah. Another thing you can use is in your meditations. Cool. Awesome, Christopher. In your meditations is a 6-minute recode. Use that. When you don't have a lot of time or space, you don't want to go through a whole hour program. In your little meditation things, you can use a quick little recode. But if you can just choose your choice, even though you notice you're triggered, that's going to be the most efficient thing, right? So here you are, although something's, you're going along and you get in, and there's a stimulus that happens. Could be that you choose a choice. It could be that somebody says something, does something, and then you're like, whew, before you react, you give yourself a space so that you can go, okay, there's a bunch up on the active field. I know that I'm triggered. I know there's things going on. Can I choose in this moment to align with my choice? Like in a relationship, like you're going along, right? Your partner does something and you're like, triggered. Has that ever happened to anybody? Might happen to me once or twice. So there you are, you're going along, you get triggered by something a partner does, and you're all of a sudden off to the races until you can go, okay, wait a second. Is that really what's going on? Or is it this mind that's aligning it with something where I felt rejected, where I felt insignificant, where I felt abandoned, right? So if you can catch it and go, oh, wait a second, they're not the bad guy. We're on the same team. I choose to have, for me, it's a loving, connected, compassionate relationship. So, whatever yours is, oh, I choose that. And then respond. If you can have that gap, that's the thing, right? That's that little space in between, right? The little space in between is the gap where you have the opportunity to make the shift.